Welcome to Grow Overload. I'm Anthony, and this is sad, disappointing, I would have to say too, is AMD Polaris and Vega GPUs are only going to receive crucial updates. Only, what is it, security and critical stuff, according to AMD spokesperson to Anantech. So this is a quote that AMD said to Anantech, is AMD Polaris the AMD Polaris and Vega graphics architectures are mature, stable, and performant, and don't benefit as much from regular software tuning. Going forward, AMD is providing critical updates for Polaris and Vega-based products via separate driver package, including important security and functionality updates as available. The committed support is greater than for the products. The committed support is greater than for products AMD categorizes as legacy, and gamers can still enjoy their favorite games on Polaris and Vega-based products. That's the quote. Wow, that was I don't know, must be tired today. But it's sad to see. Now, it's not a legacy product, right? This is, according to that quote, this is still going to be supported. It's just not getting, day zero drivers for games. It's not going to be tuned for each game. And we'll have to see if AMD sneaks one in and has a driver where they don't mention it, but does tune a little bit for the game if there's a game that comes out that is badly performant. But I do have a Polaris, or I would say a Vega card in my APU, which is the 5700G in my media center, and that did get this legacy update that they just put in, right? You're not going to be getting any of the FSR 3 stuff. That's all the newer architectures, RDNA stuff side of things. So still RDNA is there, and I believe NVIDIA is still supporting GPUs back to 2014. And the Vega ones, I mean, the 400 was around 2016. So, and the GTX 750, which is Maxwell, which is still supported, is from 2014. So AMD has a shorter window. It looks like they're dropping some of the stuff. Now, the architecture changes, I believe, is probably greater between AMD's, RDNAs and kind of where they're going based upon where Polaris was. That's long in the tooth. I bet you NVIDIA has some certain communication protocols as their designs there, because AMD has taken a lot of, I mean, even with RDNA or even with ray tracing and DLSS and all those tensor cores, right, that was added on. That wasn't, a big change to the pipeline and everything else. While NVIDIA does do that, they do have a bigger driver team to work around those things. AMD's getting there. AMD needs to put a lot of work into getting that team up to be able to scale, it's almost, 10 years of GPU releases, like where NVIDIA is. So I'm not too worried about this. It is disappointing to see, right? Because I have that system over there. I don't game on it, but I like to see those improvements come down, especially for those people that do still have those cards, do still game with them. Maybe AMD's right. You're not going to see a huge difference in that game tuning because of how mature Polaris is at this point, and Vega, and that could be very well true. And if that's the case, we will see going on, hopefully we still see a testing of these cards to see how performant they are. And because I still got quite a few of them. I got some 580s. I got a Vega 64 over there. I got 590, a 480 sitting around here someplace. Yeah, it's disappointing. I will say that. With that being said, do you think that AMD is doing this to try to siphon off or kind of split off their driver development team to a point where they can start focusing and moving RDNA faster? Do you think that they are going to have the capacity now to be like, we're doing the security stuff, we're doing the critical stuff, we're doing, whatever features we need to make sure that they still run. They're not legacy, but we're still going to support them to a point, but we're moving off, and we're going to put as much effort into RDNA to really make sure that our drivers and the software around the drivers are well-rounded enough so people cannot have a complaint about, NVIDIA has this over this, NVIDIA has this problem. We're not playing catch up. We're going to be on par and try to do some new features that NVIDIA doesn't have so that people can recognize that we aren't just, sitting trying to catch up all the time, years behind. We are actually, trying to get equal and ahead in areas. And that's one question I have out there, because if that's the case, I think that this could be a very good move for AMD. But that has to be the case, right? That has to be that they're going to put forth the effort in order to do that. And at this point, I just don't know, right? I'm up in the air about if this is going to be, what happens or not. But time will tell to see where all this is. Because if they can move those resources into RDNA side of the drivers, optimizing that, getting their optimizations a lot tighter, this could be a huge benefit. Or maybe I know AMD had a patent a while back on using AI to be able to help tune drivers better. And maybe that's the case, is they have a team working on that instead of, moving people off of where this is. I don't know where this is going to lead to, but my question out to you guys is, what do you think? Do you think that this is going to be a benefit? Would you like to see these still have day zero? I know that's where I would really like to see day zero still, because there's a lot of these Polaris cards out there, and the fine wine aspect of it, of AMD, has what they've been known for a while, kind of goes away if you start limiting all your improvements over time, right? If we're going to stop supporting cards, now, when was that? Vega 20 was 2019. So they even had a 590 GME edition in 2020. So Vega 64 was 2017. So I'm right there, that's 6 years, but it was still gaming good when I put it on my bench over there. Well, it's the pool table, you guys have seen it. But that's one thing I am very concerned. Now, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I really wish that they would, because they have FSR. And maybe they're going to rely on FSR to pick up the slack on these old cars and just keep them in supported mode, and just say, day zeros are just for RDNA. There's a lot of questions here I have, and I wish AMD would have put a little bit better statement out. While their statement is good, I think that, saying it's not legacy is a very good thing. They're not EOL, end of life, as in the drivers aren't end of life for these products. But the one concern I have is, hey, are you going to rely on FSR2 or something to be able to make up that, maybe what your drivers were doing before, or how is this all going to work, right? And to keep the products performant, because NVIDIA, has still support for their 2014 GPUs, which are slightly older than your current range. And that's just something to keep in mind, AMD, as you move forward. Maybe AMD also will you have the super cards coming out here soon, so you might see something there, right? Maybe AMD will drop prices, incentivize people to. If I'm AMD, I'm getting ready to. If Super's coming out, then early next year, which is what it looks like, I'm dropping prices for this holiday season, having everybody get a Radeon in to start the new year, to really kind of, push that product, get your products out there in this last quarter before the super cards come out, where NVIDIA might try to price them, it being a little bit more competitive, right? And if you're driving that success through, maybe you keep those price cuts there and put a little bit more pressure on what NVIDIA has to do. So, yeah, that's all I have right now. I really want to hear what you guys think about this as well. I think it's a interesting little kind of move here by AMD. They've been the fine wine and everything else. So I'm interested to see what you guys have to say. But thank you so much for taking the time to support Grow Everlone, help this channel grow. I appreciate it a lot. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon. It really does help out the channel. And until next time, God bless.